This is a podcast on Chapter 1. This is the first podcast. Teaching can be viewed from many perspectives. The perspective teachers take when they look at the teaching learning process determines what they will look at in that process and how they will look at it. Perspectives are important because they cause the teacher to see things in certain ways. Teaching is a profession, and it is the profession that makes all other professions possible. With that profession comes a special status and a responsibility to the people that we serve. Of course, not all occupations and/or careers that people have are considered professions. Some examples might be someone who works in a retail store, such as JCPenney's or Belk's. They're not necessarily considered professionals. They're salespeople, and they do act sometimes in a professional way, but they are not considered a profession. Some other examples of professions are being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a nurse, being an accountant. They all have the same characteristics as our profession of teaching, and those characteristics are going to be outlined on the next few slides. A profession, of course, requires extensive preparation, and for us that's teacher education programs. For a lawyer it would be law school and so on. We provide a socially valuable service. Particularly for us, it's education for all in the United States. Members share a commitment to the service they provide, and that service for us is a commitment to the students. We receive a high level of public trust normally. However, in the last couple of decades, the public trust, unfortunately, in education and teachers has gone down quite a bit. And then lastly, it's governed by technical and ethical standards that monitor our entrance into the profession. For us, our entrance is monitored by a test known as Praxis 2, and for us that's the 0095 test now, which is content and design. Another characteristic is that we have our own professional language or professional jargon. The EdTPA calls that academic language. Members share a perspective of what is best practices in teaching, and that's usually defined by our professional organizations, and that is defined by ours, NASB, who does the beginning teaching standards. We usually have a governing professional organization. Right now that is AFERD, the American Alliance for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance. There is an accountability of performance for all people in our profession, and that usually comes from within our profession. In other words, superintendents and other teachers are the ones who evaluate us. Our practice is based on theoretical knowledge that we usually see all of the research, the theoretical knowledge in journals, and it provides opportunities for growth or development within the field, like conferences and conventions and so on. Usually the thing that people think the most about professional teachers and how they act is whether they're on time and whether they dress appropriately. And of course we do dress to impress in physical education, and we want to make sure that we look different from the students. We also apply ethics to our actions, and we have respect for others, colleagues, students, parents, and administrators. We also keep a professional distance with our students. We do not become their friends. We are the adult in the room, and it's our responsibility to make sure that they learn what they need to learn in physical education. One of the major responsibilities of a professional teacher, though, is to make sure that they are continuous learners and that they constantly go to conferences and workshops and so on to try to keep up with the most up-to-date knowledge in our field. It also helps to go to conferences to do networking for future jobs. The following slides will outline the NASB Beginning Teacher Education Standards from 2008. There are 6 teaching main standards that you have to know, and there are several elements underneath each one. Notice that these standards or elements are part of your internship 1 and 2 evaluations now, and that includes applying biomechanics and exercise physiology principles to your teaching. In addition to the scientific and theoretical knowledge from the disciplines in Standard 1, we have to also make sure that all of our teacher candidates know how to do skills and fitness competence, and that's why you take the fitness gram testing and the fundamental motor skill testing in all of your classes in our program. These are self-explanatory, these two, planning and implementation and instructional delivery and management, and this is the meat of what we do as teachers. Standard 5 about impact on learning is designed to make it so that we pre-assess and post-assess our students and see how you interns are actually impacting the student learning of K through 12 students. Standard 6, of course, talks about professionalism, which are the dispositions essential to becoming an effective teaching professional. In the College of Education, we do assess your dispositions as a teacher. Now it's time to go to podcast 2.